And we are live. Everybody, welcome to the episode 3 of Hyper Degen series, the show where we bring on the sharpest minds building on Hyperliquid to unpack what they're working on, why they chose this chain, and where things are headed in the future. In every episode, we try to spotlight projects who are doing something distinct, whether it's pushing limits of performance, rethinking user experience, or just delivering real results. Today's guests check more than one of these boxes. We're joined by Ethan, growth lead from Upshift Finance, a team that has been making steady, thoughtful process progress in the background while contributing to Hyperliquid's fast-growing ecosystem. Since launching on the chain just a few months ago, Upshift has grown to over 75 million in deposits with a product that blends on-chain transparency and deep ecosystem integration. They've also partnered with projects like Pendle, launched composable walls, and now they're playing a key role in helping define what yield infrastructure can look like on Hyperliquid. First of all, Ethan, congratulations for all the commendable work that your team has been doing, and welcome to the live stream. We are excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, what an introduction. There's a lot of pressure to live up to it. But yeah, we've had a great time working with Octo. We've also had a great experience building in the Hyper EVM ecosystem. A lot of support there, as because you mentioned, 75 million in deposits already. And so yeah, looking to discussing more about that today.
Amazing, amazing. So, without further ado, let's start with a quick round of intro. Can you tell us who you are and what Upshift is working on in a nutshell?
Sure. So I'm the growth leader at Upshift. Upshift is the most efficient way to earn yield and points in the Hyper EVM ecosystem. And so what that means is that you can earn points and yield from 5+ protocols by depositing once into one of our vaults. We have two vaults, a vault for Hype and a vault for BTC from Unit on the Hype EVM. And if you deposit either of those two, you will earn points from Upshift, Hyperbeat, Hyperlend, um, Hyperfi, TimeSwap, Silhouette, etc. Hope I'm not forgetting anyone. And it just makes it very, very easy to access the Hyperion ecosystem if you don't have time, if you're not too up to date on which protocols have launched and are out there, and you want an easy way to earn yield and maximize your exposure. So this is what Upshift is doing. We do have other vaults too, not on the HyperEVM, so USDC vaults, ETH, BTC, and generally those vaults are also trying to be as efficient as possible by giving depositors access to the same strategies used by DeFi hedge funds. But yeah, for today, we're talking about the two vaults that we have on HyperEVM.
Awesome, awesome. Super helpful for anyone new tuning in. Um, so, Ethan, I'd like to start with what was the inspiration behind Upshift? Like, was there a specific problem you guys were trying to solve when you started?
Yeah, great question. I think it really comes down to the fact that yield in DeFi today is very complex and very hard. If you look back to, let's say, 5 years ago in DeFi summer, or even just before that, yield was easy. It was staking, it was lending, and then it moved into looping, which is a bit harder, but still not too bad. These days, you have to basically become your own hedge fund. You have to run delta neutral basis trades. You have to constantly be scanning for new opportunities on new ecosystems. I think a couple of months ago, the Sonic ecosystem was very popular, and there were hundreds of new tutorials on Twitter claiming to have found the next massive opportunity. And then you look at it and it's like a 10K lending pool or something, which you have to loop 5 times to earn 5%. And so if you're confused about what funding rates mean, if you're confused about what basis trades mean, if you're confused about what a perp is, which I would say is probably 90% of users, then we're building a product for you, right? We're making these sort of strategies very easy so that you can earn the best yields in DeFi without much effort. Just one deposit, and you can maximize your returns. And so this is where Upshift came from. I should probably talk a bit about um, August too. So Upshift is the first DApp built as part of the August ecosystem. August is the largest trading platform for institutions using DeFi. So hedge funds, family offices, I guess even banks in the future, any sort of entity that wants to access DeFi. And so what Upshift does is essentially it gives regular users access to those strategies that those hedge funds and family offices are running on August. And so we're democratizing institutional DeFi. Um, and the Upshift product came actually from requests from partner protocols. Kelp, I assume a lot of your listeners will probably be familiar with, one of the largest liquid staking tokens, restaking tokens. Um, we launched a few vaults with them, where essentially these vaults strategists would run the strategies for users to earn yield, and then it sort of grew from there. We're now at almost 400 million TVL. We launched the Hyper EVM vaults very recently as well, and those, as you mentioned, are over 70 million TVL. And yeah, our goal really is to become the place where yield is very easily discoverable and earned to maximal effect. That's Upshift.
Makes a lot of sense. So, building on top of what you mentioned, that you're closely connected with August. So, it comes from a more traditional finance background. How has
Mm.
that background kind of shaped, your approach to vaults, safety, or even user experience?
Yeah, great question. So as I mentioned, August is sort of the engine behind Upshift, and in a lot of ways, you hear DApps, DeFi DApps saying, "Oh, we're going to serve institutions one day," right? But how many of those teams are actually going to be able to do that without the experience and expertise serving institutions? Upshift flips that, right? Upshift started off with August, which has been running for 2 years. It handles 7 billion in monthly volume for institutional clients. So it really has the sort of risk engine analysis and also that institutional grade service that these big players expect. And Upshift is essentially giving that, democratizing that for regular users. So we started with institutional, and now we're bringing that to retail. Um, and so it's a big part of our ethos at Upshift to bring services and products that are very safe, transparent, and accessible to any DeFi user in a way that really hasn't been done before. Um, Maybe I'll also speak a bit about the origins of August. August, as I mentioned, has been going for about 2.5 years now. It actually, the first funding round for August was made, I think, the week of the Celsius and FTX collapse, around that week, our BlockFi collapse. And so you can see very much the lineage that August comes from, where those platforms like Celsius and BlockFi very much criticized for their opaqueness
Agreed.
and their exuberant lending to institutional borrowers. And so August is completely flipping that on its head, born from those ashes, born from all of those lessons that were learned in the previous cycle. Um, and so we're bringing that extra layer of security and transparency uh, to retail users through Upshift.
Awesome. That definitely shows how structured Upshift is. It's refreshing to see, in DeFi space, often where things move fast, but, break things. You're live on multiple chains. So I'd like to understand where Hyperliquid come into the picture. Like what made Hyperliquid, stand out enough to make it a key part of your roadmap?
Of course, yeah. So that's a great question. Upshift, as I mentioned, started off with Kelp on ETH mainnet. Um, and I think that's pretty obvious why ETH mainnet has the most liquidity. It's very institutional aligned. It has the most DeFi activity. But then came along Hyperliquid, right? Hyperliquid, this amazing story that all of us now are familiar with. Um, the perp decks turn into the L1 to house all the finance. Um, it's an amazing story, and I think we're beginning to see that ecosystem grow like hugely with users. The latest stats, I believe, something like 10K users on HyperEVM. Still very little, mind you, still very little. We're still very early. But for those 10K users on HyperEVM, something like what was it, 2.4 million in revenue yesterday, 60 or so million revenue per month, almost a billion in revenue per year, which is astonishing for an app um, that launched very recently. Um, and so, you know, our team, we're always looking to go after the ecosystems where there is demand for yield and for DeFi, and Hyperliquid and HyperEVM clearly was that place. Sometimes internally, I think about how what we're essentially doing is like we're playing the VC role. We're picking the ecosystems which we think will grow, and we're making a bet on those ecosystems. And Hyperliquid and HyperVM is clearly one of the ecosystems where there's blossoming demand, and we're very excited to see that accelerate, right? Um, so yeah, starting with our hype and BTC vaults, hopefully we will launch more there.
Right. And I think that's something a lot of builders have also started to realize, that Hyperliquid isn't just fast, it's really aligned on what the experience should feel like. Your tech is clearly powerful. Features like sub-second finality, no gas fee, high throughput. But how has that translated into real user behavior or product evolution for Upshift?
Yeah, I think all of those features of Hyperliquid, um, they make it a place which almost goes against what other blockchains went for, and that's why Hyperliquid was so successful. It's sort of counter-positioned against these very decentralized blockchains, and it said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to build something very performant. We're going to progressively decentralize, and we're going to start with an app first, right, instead of a general purpose one. Now it remains to be seen whether that trade-off in the long run pays off. It seems like it is right now, and I personally am very bullish on the ecosystem as well. Um, but clearly, it's also resonating with a lot of users, particularly DeFi traders and perp users, especially. So all of these things obviously are helping attract more and more holders of hype, and that's really how it all connects to Upshift. Upshift, we're not so much built on Hyperliquid, where sort of this um, generalized smart contract infrastructure that can be deployed on every L1. So we deployed on HyperEVM as well. But as Hyperliquid usage grows and as HyperEVM usage grows, we're very excited to see more usage of the vaults, and also more opportunities for the vault strategists to earn yield for the vault depositors too.
Love that. It's like it's one thing to have the infra, but another to see it actually shape how people use your product.
Hmm.
So moving on, since launching on Hyperliquid, Upshift has grown over 200%. So what, according to you, has been the driving force behind that growth? Is it the market product fit or ecosystem support or something else?
Yeah, I think what particularly stands out to me about the HyperVM community is just that it's community. I've never felt such, um, well, actually not never. Recently, I haven't felt as strong of a culture. Probably you guys have felt it too, right? You guys just launched your
Yes.
hype zone as well. You tweet about Hyperliquid, 20 people come to support you.
Yes.
If there's fun about Hyperliquid, 100 people come to tell you why you're wrong. Um, and that has its pros and cons, obviously. But ultimately, the community and the culture is what makes Hyperliquid so great, and that speaks volumes about how Jeff and his team have carefully built their product and the strength of their product market fit. I mean, there's no doubt that Hyperliquid has unbelievable product market fit and has
Right.
also had an amazing go to market too. You know, no VC funding, insane airdrop. Um, all of these things are playing in its favor. And so you can't talk about Hyperliquid without talking about its community and its culture. Um, and then I guess the other thing is um, yield, right? I would say the high PVM votes on Upshift have one of the strongest product market fits of any of our votes. The other set of votes that are really popular are probably the stablecoin votes too. Um, but there are just endless amounts of people who are looking to buy hype and to earn yield on hype. And we only see that growing. And so that's the other very key driver of adoption for these votes. More users on this high PVM um, that are looking for ways to maximize their return. So yeah, in summary, um, Hyperliquid.
Yeah, I get that. So, zooming out a little bit and let's dig into the product a bit. So, for somebody who's never used Upshift before, how do your walls actually work?
Yeah, good question. They're very simple, right? If you go to app.upshift or finance, you will see a list of vaults where you can deposit different assets. You can deposit hype, you can deposit BTC, you can deposit USDC, you can deposit ETH, right? Then you'll see which chain you deposit on. So that's mainnet, HiBVM. We have some on Base, we have some on Avalanche as well. Each of these vaults is run by a strategist. These are usually DeFi yield funds that have experience running these strategies to earn high yield. And then once those strategists earn yield, every day you will see your position change, right? And so you'll see, I don't know, 2%, well, not 2% per day, but 0.7% increase in yield or change in yield per day. And so we have votes, for example, on HyperVM, where the strategist is running a basis trade on hype. We have votes where the strategist is running a concentrated liquidity position on Aerodrome or Velodrome. We have votes where the strategist is running 12 different strategies across 12 different DeFi protocols on Aave, on Morpho, on Spectra, on um, wherever, Euler. And so you also have votes which abstract away all of that complexity too, right? Instead of just having a lending vault, we have a multi-strategy vault which can capture the best opportunities in DeFi as and when they come. And those strategies change dynamically too. If a new strategy appears that's very popular, that can be added for the next week. And so users can then start earning yield from that. So it's very simple. You deposit and then you earn yield from the best strategies in DeFi. You don't have to do anything yourself. Now, I will add, if you want to earn even more yield, there are additional features too. One feature is that when you deposit into an Upshift vault, you receive a receipt token in return. This token essentially represents your yield bearing deposit position. Um, and you can then use that receipt token across DeFi. You can use, for example, you deposit into our Upshift USDC vault, you deposit USDC, and you get back up USDC. Up USDC is available on Pendle, so you can leverage the yield by buying YT up USDC. You can lock in the fixed yield by buying or trading PT, USDC, USDC, and then you can also loop it. You can loop it on Euler and Morpho, and we're working on increasing the composability of all of our receipt tokens so that users have all the tools to maximize their yield in DeFi. And so I guess one way to think about it is that in the future, as Upshift grows and grows into this platform where people find yield, every DeFi user will start by depositing into a vault, earn yield from multiple strategies, and then have the option to use those receipt tokens across DeFi for more yield. So depositing is just step one. Whereas if you compare to other vault platforms, depositing is the end.
Correct.
You can't then use your token. Your token's locked up for 3 months or whatever. We've seen recently with some pre-deposit vaults where that's happened. Users lock up their asset for 3 months and they pray that the yield at the end is good, right? On Upshift, you don't have such a model. You have a much more efficient model. And so that's why we're quite popular with whales, even liquid funds that want to deposit into our vaults because of that efficiency. And so, yeah, to summarize, how it works is very simple. You deposit into a vault that's run by a vault strategist. You earn yield from those strategies, and then you can do more with your receipt token by using it on Pendle, on Morpho, etc.
Super clear. I think what stands out is how composable yet understandable the vault system really is. That's very
Yes.
rare, actually. So you've also integrated with Pendle. How
Mhm.
does that partnership, improve the experience for users?
Yeah, for sure. I think taking a step back, DeFi protocols succeed when they're composable, like you say. I've now done user calls, just chats with big DeFi native users about why they're excited about Upshift. So many of them are excited because of our composability. You mentioned the receipt tokens, and suddenly their eyes light up. And so with Pendle, it's simple. It's basically giving depositors in Upshift more ability to compose their tokens and deposits across DeFi and earn extra yield. So we have an UpUSDC Pendle pool already, which is renewing next week. And so if you want to lock in, I think it's 12% fixed yield on your USDC, all you need to do is buy the PT UpUSDC token, right? If you're if you want to trade the yield, you can buy YT UpUSDC and leverage the yield. You think the yield's going to increase. Um, and we're going to have more and more Pendle pools open for different vaults too. There was one more that we recently opened for our Meso BTC vault. So for that one, it was for some time the highest yielding BTC pool on Pendle, something like 5% fixed yield, which is incredible for BTC. And so again, we see Upshift as slotting in as the yield block of all of these Lego blocks in DeFi. Pendle is the yield trading block, for example. Morpho, Euler, Aave, these are the lending blocks. But Upshift is a yield block. Um, and and yeah, Pendle is a brilliant partner. We love the Pendle team, and we're very excited to be working with them to improve composability.
Yeah, I guess Pendulum Hyperliquid is a pretty powerful combo. Great to see how you are layering that into the user journey. I think this is a win-win for the user. I want to touch on this idea of receipt tokens. What role
Yes.
do you think they play in your system, and how might they evolve within the entire like Hyperliquid system?
Mm, good question. So yeah, as I mentioned, receipt tokens very important. It's why Upshift is different from a lot of other vault platforms. You can compose those tokens across DeFi and earn more yield. Specifically for the Hype and the UBTC vault, you get HB Hype and HB UBTC, or it might be HB BTC, as receipt tokens for deposits. And those tokens essentially will likely let you borrow against your hype deposit in the future. And so, if you think about it, as more and more people hold hype, they want to deposit into the vault and earn yield. But then, what you do, a lot of capital is in the vault, and you want to actually use stables across DeFi. Then you can borrow against your receipt token to basically do whatever you want in the Hyper-V ecosystem. And so the hype and BTC receipt tokens are very important. We're speaking to Hyperbeat about that as well and making those more composable. And so, yeah, watch the space. Soon you'll be able to earn yield on your hype while still using them liquidly across Hyper-V.
Makes sense. Also, you guys recently rolled out Vault as a service. How do
Mhm.
you see that helping other teams or protocols, launch faster?
Yeah, so Vault as a service is essentially our white label solution. So we have the Upshift platform, but we also work with several other partners to deploy Vaults on their platforms. So we've worked with Swissborg in the past, which is a big sort of exchange um, that offers one of our vaults on their front end. So their depositors and their users can earn additional yield on their assets. And you can imagine in the future we'll probably have vaults with different wallets too, so that in the wallets in the earn section you will have Upshift vaults seamlessly integrated. So again, you can earn yield on the assets in your wallets very easily. And so vaults as a service is just increasing the surface area for more users to benefit from Upshift vaults and Upshift yield. Um, and so we're very bullish on that. And we're going to be continuing to focus on growing more and more partners to support vaults on their front end so that they can natively give their users ways to earn yield. And so we're starting with wallets. Actually, just before this live stream, I was speaking to a big wallet. I won't mention who, but a big wallet about integrating a vault into their front end so that their users can very easily yield. And so we think this is the future, right? Every single person who comes into DeFi, they will start by earning yield. Just like everyone who has a bank account, they typically start with a savings account, right, to earn 2% yield on this on the assets. Whereas in DeFi, you can earn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus percentage yield, right? So we have a saying at Upshift, which is that yield is the Trojan horse. It's the way that a lot of people are going to be entering DeFi. And so integrating with these partners, these wallets, is one of the ways in which we're planning to do that.
That's a massive unlock, especially for smaller
Mm.
teams that have like strategy ideas but no infra or security team. I think this is huge for them. So let's talk about future. What's next for Upshift over the few next months? Are there any new vault integrations or features that we should be watching out for?
Yeah, I also want to take this moment to shout out Octo as well. Obviously, we just did an integration with Octo to your Hype Scan, Hype Zone, sorry, which is this new area within the wallet showcasing HyperVM apps. So yeah, very excited for that. Obviously, Octo doing great work as the first native HyperVM wallet.
Yes.
Um, and and yeah, more of that to come. Essentially, hopefully we can do more of Octo. But over the next few months, we'll be working with more and more partners to again increase the surface area for yield. Um, we'll be increasing composability of different tokens, whether that's for the hype and BTC vaults or for other vaults on Upshift. And also, we'll be launching a core USDC vault. So I'll explain that. Currently, we have, I think, 3 or 4 USDC vaults, and we don't want to get to the point where someone comes to Upshift and they see a lot of USDC vaults and they're thinking which one do I pick. And so we're launching a core USDC vault, which is one vault that aggregates all of these USDC vaults and allocates across them depending on their returns. And so it's just again an easier way for depositors to access the best DeFi yields. So that's an exciting launch that we have coming up. Um, and in general, more yields and more vaults. That's what I can say. A lot more to come. Hopefully, we'll be doing another vault on the HyperVM soon as well. But if not, we've got great partners, Hyperbeat, that we're working with to improve composability of the receipt tokens. So more of that to come.
That sounds super uh, insightful. So, for somebody who's tuning in, who's curious but hasn't used Upshift yet, what's a good first step to get started for them?
Yeah. So the first step is always to deposit. Right, that's it. Come to the Upshift app, come to Octo as well, and you can find Upshift through Octo, and you can deposit your hype, you can deposit your BTC. Right. Um, if you want to explore a bit more about Upshift, we're about to launch a blog, so you can read more. You can check out our docs. You can listen to some of the existing podcasts from our founders, who are very experienced in the space. Previously, was on the founding team of Falcon X, one of the largest institutional prime brokerages. Um, and also, uh, the other founder was previously portfolio manager at Ledger Prime, one of the largest hedge funds in DeFi as well. And so, yeah, definitely listen to them speak about the vision and where we're going with this. And then lastly, I would say if you want to contribute, we have a community program. You can make content about Upshift or Yield, which a lot of people already do, and you can get involved that way. We have a point system. I know people are probably bored of points by now, but we do have a point system if you want to contribute and be rewarded. And so, yeah, hang around. You can feel free to DM me. I'm happy to jump on a call with you to hear feedback about Upshift and improve the product. But yeah, probably the easiest way is to take a look at Upshift, browse the vaults, see which one you like, and deposit to start earning yield.
Perfect, perfect. All right. So before we wrap up, is there any early alpha you can drop for the people who have tuned in? Something to keep an eye on in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it. Is the core UCC vault is a pretty big one for us, um, and then also just a lot more capability. Those are the two things, right? Where essentially when you deposit into the Upshift UCC vault, you get Up UCC, and this is similar to a yield-bearing liquid token that you see throughout DeFi, like USDE, for example, from Athena. And so, if you want to earn yield and then earn more yield on top of that, look out for the composability. We'll have a Pendle pool going live next week. And then the core UCC vault, that one's going to be targeting very high yield for UCC. So take a look at that as well. But otherwise, listen, we're playing a long-term game. Um, we're here for the next decade to build the yield place for DeFi. For now, we're targeting DeFi native users. In the future, we'll be targeting your mom, your dad, your grandma, um, to become the savings account essentially for DeFi, because as I said, yield really is the Trojan horse. And so, if you're interested in that vision, please feel free to reach out. Always happy to chat to anyone who wants to give feedback.
Love it. You heard it. You heard it here first, folks. So, Ethan, thank you so much for joining us. This was a very insightful conversation. Big, massive respect to you, your whole team at Upshift for building thoughtfully, shipping fast, and showing what real innovation looks like in this next phase of DeFi. And everyone for tuning in. Thanks for being there. This was the episode 3 of Hyper Degen series. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to share it, tag your friends and builders, and let us know which protocol next we should get here. And don't forget to follow Ethan, Upshift, Octo, and Hyperliquid. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.